prep is in. We're here. It's felt like a long time coming. It's only been a year. It's been a year of growing. And like I said, when prep started, that's when the videos are going to be coming in. Now I'm a couple of days into prep now. Started on Friday. It's now Tuesday. So we're a few days in. And I'm going to be talking about, in this video, we're pretty much going to be talking about the prep itself, what's the goals of prep, what's the start point, what shows we're going to be doing, and how long the prep is going to be. And yeah, the point of this video for me is to kind of give you a bit more of an insight as to why I'm prepping, why I didn't spend more time off, why I didn't just stay growing, because realistically, I could have spent more time growing. I could have got bigger. I could have tried to step on stage next year or the year after that, after spending a bit more time just growing. But I think the one thing that I want to try and show people is what it really takes to be able to do this, because I didn't document it properly last time. And I feel like I could document this fully, get the most out of the experience, have videos to look back on, and also showcase what it is to prep and what it takes to prep. And there's a whole load and whole heap of work that fucking goes into it. And I want to make sure that I document it this time. That's one of the reasons. But another reason is because I love a fucking challenge. I've spent 12 months growing pretty much. I last competed in May last year. And since that point, it's just been push, 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 small pullback, push, 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 food increasing, holding the food, holding the weight, pushing up to 200 pounds, holding that, cutting back down, going back up to 198, finishing on 198, 198 pounds. And it was hard maintaining that weight, even just like holding it there. Appetite was in the bin. Food focus was absolutely on the floor. Did not think about food in the slightest. So my appetite it weren't there to be able to eat the food in the first place. So yeah, the final 3 weeks of the push-up, the last push-up before prep was the hardest. I just didn't want to eat at all. And even the foods that I would normally enjoy, I could not give a flying fuck about. But that's the point of an off-season. That's the point of an off-season before a prep. That's the point in growth phases and pushing your food up and holding your food there and being able to get to a place where your food focus is going to be minimal going to prep. So then when you transition into a prep and transition into a diet, guess what? It's going to be easier because you're not hungry. You're not feeling hungry. You're not feeling depleted. You're not already feeling like you're focusing on food. So your mind can just focus on building the habits. Because the last thing that people want to do going into a prep is have to build the habits, but also manage the hunger. You need to be able to build the habits, just obviously already have some fundamental habits in place. But the one thing that I'm going to have to adjust to is making sure, one, getting my meals back in again, because they went out the fucking swanny. The meal timings that I had when obviously I was at the back end of the push, they were gone. I didn't have meal timings. I just ate to get the fucking food in. But yeah, in terms of like, now, it's just readjusting and getting back into the habit of eating every couple of hours. And yeah, just adjusting to the feeling of actually being a little bit hungry. But it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to have. And it's not going to get to the point where I'm going to be absolutely ravenous for a long time anyway. I hope. But yeah, in terms of the length of prep, we're going to cover that. The length of prep is going to be 20 weeks for the first show. And we are now pretty much, 19 weeks and 5 days away, I think. Basically, we're competing on a Sunday, so if I'd have recorded this video on Sunday, it'd have been 20 weeks bang on. And the first show is an NFM show, which I didn't compete in last year. And then the second show is on the 29th of September, which is going to be PCA. They are the only ones that are planned at the moment, purely because I don't know, obviously, it depends on the result. Whether I compete after that is going to be dependent on the result, to be honest. But yeah, I competed last year, going back to, this is what happens on videos, and this is where I fuck up on videos. I go on little tangents and go all over the place, and it's just my ADHD brain. I go from one subject to another subject, back to another subject, and then over to another subject. If anyone can relate, then you're probably similar to me. But yeah, I wanted to do multiple shows this time round. Ideally, if I can do 3, I will do 3. If the first 2 shows go really well, then I will be doing 3. If the first 2 shows are shit, and I don't really do it, I don't do well, I'll just leave it at 2. But I'll be happy with 2. Because last year, I only got to do the 1. So this time around, it's probably going to be a photo shoot, it's going to be a show and then another show. And then depending on that result with the second show or the first show, we might do a third. We might not. We'll see when we get close to the time. But it's a longer prep this time. The last time it was around 12 weeks, but by that point I was already dieting. I already dieted from 200 pounds, but it wasn't really a diet. I just kind of fucked about, lost a bit of weight, lost a bit of size, and then decided to prep and then lock in. This time, we're locking in from the get-go. So we can manage everything from the get-go. And although drugs are not in yet, we're currently starting with some form of drugs, but it's lipolytics. Again, I'm going to cover all this shit and obviously why. And if you have watched this channel before, then you know that I do take PEDs. If you don't, then obviously, and that's news to you, I take PEDs. And yeah, that's probably another subject for a whole other video with when I started, why I started, was it a good time to even start? But that's going to be another video. And if you would find that one useful and you would obviously be interested in that type of video, then please drop the video a like and also drop the channel a subscription because it helps me. And obviously, the more people that subscribe to the channel, the more inclined I'm going to be able to do these videos. But weekly videos are going to be getting done anyway to document this journey. But yeah, 20 weeks. And to start with, food is around 2,700 or 2,800 on a rest training day, then a rest day is around 2,600. I'm going to put the macros for a training day there. I'm going to put the macros for a rest day just there. And then you can see, obviously, where we're currently at with food from a macro perspective. And then the physique, the start point. I got a little video the other day, and this was over the weekend. So the physique is just up there. That's the start point. That's where we're starting. Physically, I am in a much better spot than what I started in last time in terms of mass, in terms of obviously being able to lock in from the get-go with that amount of size. And obviously the duration of the prep is going to mean that I've got more time to be able to maintain and hold muscle tissue to come into the show a little bit bigger rather than having to sacrifice size to be able to get conditioned. This time I want condition and size. And if you've not seen what I looked like for my last show last year, I'm going to put a picture up there. Again, that was what I looked like last year when I competed in the PCA show. Condition was not an issue. Condition was not an issue. Grinding and grafting to get in condition will never be an issue. The one thing that's always going to be the hardest is obviously maintaining muscle tissue. It's going to be making sure that as training gets harder, because less food is in, I still continue to fucking keep intensity high. Because the one thing that can be a bit of a head fuck is when your food gets lower, training goes down the fucking swanny. It's going to an extent anyway. Your training is going to be in the bin to an extent towards the back end of prep. But I feel like I let it slip a little bit earlier on. But this time round, it's going to be different. This time round, training is going to be different. Training is going to be, the intensity is going to be there, it's going to be the same. And if anything, right now, in terms of drugs, I'm at 150 milligram of test E per week. And that's going to be the start point. And also, I am going to be open about drug usage on this channel because why the fuck not? Like, I'm not condoning or pushing the agenda of drug use or PED use on this channel. Do not use it unless you understand the risks and unless you have lived this lifestyle for a prolonged period of time. If you decide to just jump on PEDs and do the local listen to the local gym bro about the cycle that you should do, and then you end up jumping on fucking all types of tablets because you don't want to inject, or you jump on injectables and jump on a fucking high amount, you're only going to fuck yourself up and fuck your health up. So don't bother with that. Make sure if you are going to jump on, you understand what needs to be done. You understand the health implications that it can have, the risks, short-term, long-term, and then make the decision, because I'd be a fucking hypocrite to say don't do it. For me, it's what I wanted to do. Did I do it at the wrong time? Yeah, like I mentioned, it's probably a whole topic of discussion for another video. But yeah, 150 milligram of test per week, and then we're starting with 40 micrograms of Clen a day, and T4 is in at replacement dosages. Yeah, that's going to be the start point. Just test at a baseline, which it has been for the past 6 weeks now, before we do obviously implement other drugs. And then we're straight in with Clen, your Himbine, 10 milligram, Clen, 40 microgram, and then T4 at replacement dosages. So that's the start point in terms of drugs and lipolytics. Lipolytics obviously are already in the mix. Drugs, blasting is not in the mix just yet, but they should be coming in the next week or two. Yeah, it's just been a case of allowing my body to be responsive at the start of prep. So we've not started with the drugs, we've just started with the food, start with the cardio, get the body ticking along in terms of actually moving down in weight from pure cardio, expenditure and food, and then obviously continue to train hard whilst drugs are out of the equation. And then when the other drugs come into play during the prep, that's when things are probably going to get a little bit different in terms of the look, the fullness, the training performance, and obviously how things adapt over time with the physique. There'll just be a little bit more of a pop and everything will start to come to life a little bit more, which naturally is going to happen when you implement PEDs. But yeah, that's going to be the start point. Drugs, cardio is at 4 days per week at 30 minutes. Already done 3 days. I'm going to be doing the next day tomorrow, just on the check-in day. And we're just at a base of testosterone right now, which is just above TRT. And then we've just included lipolytics, which is just your fat burners, which is going to increase the rate of loss. On food, that's where things are going to be starting. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing prep? Because I want to be better than last year. I want to give myself a bit of a better run than last year. I want to document it more. I want to showcase what it takes. I want to showcase how it is the good and the bad, not just the good. Obviously this right now is good because I feel okay. I feel good. But it's only going to get harder. But yeah, the point of this prep is to document the journey. Why am I doing it? To be better than last year. To showcase it all. To showcase the hard work. To showcase my hard work over the past year. And just be better than what I was. Whether I win or not, yeah, is that a bit of a shitty mindset? Whether I win or not, I don't care. No, I obviously would like to win. And the deeper I get into prep, I would love to win. I would love to be top 3 in a show. But would I be mad at myself if I give everything to this fucking prep? I don't miss a beat. I get all my cardio done. I fucking hit every single training session with as much intent as possible. I don't miss a meal. I make sure the food gets nailed to a T. Would I be disappointed in myself? No. As long as I come in a condition I'm happy with and Christian's happy with, that is all I'm bothered about. The result is dependent on who shows up on the day. Because if I'm the only one who's fucking showing up, then I'm obviously going to win. But if there's a multitude of guys that show up, which I'm hoping there is, then it actually means a little bit more to win. It actually means a little bit more to come top 3. So that's what we're hoping for, and that's the idea of this prep. It's to be better than last year, showcase the whole journey, bring you guys along with me so you can see the ups and the downs of prep, and obviously what it takes to be able to do it, 4 days of eating, the training, obviously what training is going to be looking like, and just general day-to-day vlogs. And yeah, take you guys along with me. So if you're new to the channel and you haven't come from Instagram, then yeah, please do subscribe to the channel. If you are from Instagram and you ain't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. And yeah, there's going to be plenty more videos coming on a weekly basis, just talking through the whole journey, how it's going, physique updates, alongside obviously me doing this on Instagram as well. So if you're not following me on there, it's _Coach T Coleman. Yeah, give me a follow. Follow the journey, follow along. It can come with me on the good and the bad parts of this, but at the end of the day, prep is a choice. And if anyone ever is doing a prep and they start complaining and start fucking being a cunt around other people, then guess what? They're just a cunt. And I'm not going to beat around the bush. If you are giving anyone around you shit when you are on prep or dieting and you are being a Mardy cunt, you are just a cunt. But yeah, that's going to be the video. And that's it, guys. The start point of prep, what it is that we're going to be starting with, where it is that we're going to be heading, why it is that we're going to be doing prep, and yeah, stick around for the whole journey because it's going to be a fucking good one. This year, and I've said it before, this year is the year that I make my fucking life change.